We're going to discuss more on the 300 SL engine post-mortem. This time we're going to read the intake and exhaust header gasket, or intake and exhaust manifold gasket. And what we want is a very, hence I got the screwdriver, thank you. What we want is a clean impression around the gasket showing where the intake or the exhaust manifold was sitting and sealing, and that's what we're looking for. And so what we're going to do is read our gasket, and we'll let Steve point out to the places that are our primary interests or observation points are with the exhaust side of the equation. You can see how the gasket is burnt along here and has a little bit of corrosion on it from the leaking exhaust gases. And if we move up to number 3 and number 4, you can actually see on the underside of the cylinder head where the casting is for the coolant. You can see all the exhaust on that from how badly it was leaking. And if we go to the intake manifold itself, on the corresponding, you can also see exhaust gas leakage on the intake manifold. So this was a serious leak causing a lot of issues. Another thing that we have noticed in our inspection is in looking down the ports, we have, well, first off, we have pretty even coloration between these two cylinders, these two intake, 5 and 6 intake, and 1 and 2 intake. When we get to 3 and 4 intake, you see number 3 is very, very clean, which is usually a result of lots of fuel flow. But with a direct injection engine and the injector being screwed into the combustion chamber, normally you don't have a lot of fuel in the intake manifold, so that's kind of odd that that's super clean like that.
And this one's exceptionally dirty.
And then when we start looking down at the actual valves themselves, we can see the guide. And then when we look at the valve stem, where the stem comes out of the guide, it's very, very poor shape. Does that show up on the camera at all?
Just barely, because we want the light and the light and the camera got almost be in the same place at the same time. That, yeah, it looks. You can see how filthy it is down there,
and you can see the galling almost where the valve guide looks like it's been badly chewed as it's been going, or the stem has been badly worn.
And then you have this one, which is very clean, so it's a huge difference.